technical problems for me in technology. This is my pup, Loki. Happy New Year's Eve. And we'll start our flow and restore class now. And we'll run it a little bit later, just a few minutes later, because it's about 15 minutes. We're running 15 minutes behind schedule. So for your class today, it's a gentle flow. We'll be letting go of this year, especially things that haven't served you, and we'll be setting our intentions for the year ahead rather than resolutions. Intentions are a much nicer thing to set, and we'll do that in a deep relaxation at the end of the class. If you've got your furry friends, you can keep them in the room with you, and if you have a blanket, you might want to use a blanket as well for some of the slower some of the poses that we'll hold. We're going to hold them for a length of time, and you might want to have a blanket. If you've got a couple of cushions or a bolster, that would be ideal. A couple of blocks and a strap. But if you haven't got those things, we can improvise. So we can always improvise. And if you've got your furry friends, you can keep them in the room. It's definitely a gentle class. And if you have your children as well, you can keep them in your room that you're practicing, and they can practice along with the flow and definitely the relaxation at the end. We'll finish with our deep relaxation. But before we start, and hopefully I've given you time to gather, let's do a little meditation to start with. So come to any comfortable seated position and have the spine straight. Now, for some people, I'm straddled across a bolster. This might be uncomfortable for you. So stretch your legs out, sit on a chair. You can brace yourself against the wall, but if the wall's cold, put something around your shoulders. And maybe take a few inhales through the nose and gently lift the shoulders up. Exhale through the mouth and relax the shoulders. Do that a few times. In through the nose and gently out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Do that a few times, calming the nervous system down. In through the nose and gently out through the mouth. And then from here, see if you can find your heart. Towards the left side of the body, you'll find the heart. You're going to find the right side of the heart, and you'll find a space about the size of your thumbnail. We're going to hold the attention at the spiritual heart. And you can visualize a candle flame if that helps you to hold the attention there. And if you have an affirmation or a mantra that you use in your meditation, you can use it. This is a nice time of the year to use the Hum Sa mantra. It's a universal mantra. It's guiding, and it's as old as time, they say. And it sounds like hum, sa, so, hum, so, hum, hum, sa. Again, it sounds like hum, sa, so, hum, so, hum, hum, sa. If your mind talks to you, then you can bring the thumb and the index finger to lightly touch. And as you find the rhythm of your affirmation or mantra, that will help to steady the internal thoughts. The external thoughts, traffic and noise, and maybe if you share your home, you can hear noise as well. Then that's difficult to do something about. And in our meditation, especially if you live in a city, it's good to just not block it out, but just let the noise flow over you. So again, that mantra sounds like hum, sa, so, hum, so, hum, hum, sa. Again, hum, sa, so, hum, so, hum, hum, sa. Translated from Sanskrit, I am you, you are me, I am that I am. Now, in your own time, we're going to take the focus to the Muladhara, to the root chakra. It's at the base and the color's red. And this is an opportunity for you to just ease away anything that may not be serving you. I always like to send gratitude if it once served you, but it's no longer serving you. Just send some gratitude to it. And it's normally something that we learn for things that don't serve us anymore. Just gently easing it away, sending it into the earth, making room for the things that will be more useful for 2023. From the Muladhara, the root chakra, we send it up to the Swastisthana, the sacral chakra just below the belly button, colors orange. From the sacral chakra, we're going to send it up to the Manipura, the solar plexus, colors yellow. It's at the center of the chest. It might even feel like it's got its own heartbeat. Now from the center of the chest, send it up to the Anahaka, the heart, green. From the heart, send it to the Vishuddhi, the throat, blue. From the throat, we send it up to the third eye, the Anja chakra, indigo. And then we pass the third eye, take it way past the third eye. And you'll find the Trikiti, the consciousness, same color as the third eye. But if you keep your focus at the Trikiti during your practice, the physical practice becomes a moving, flowing meditation. The asanas become a meditation in themselves. Now let's take it back to the Anja chakra and take it up to the Sarasara, purple. Then we're going to send it all the way down. We're going to send it all the way down back to the Muladhara, keeping the energy flowing up and down. And then from here, let's just do a few rounds of pranayama. So let's bring the left hand into a mudra called Yana Mudra. Thumb and index finger lightly touches. Place it onto the left knee. Bring the right hand up. Close the hand, thumb out, two end fingers out. Index fingers curl into the palm. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Leave the left nostril on the left knee or thigh, wherever you're sitting. We're not going to use the left hand today. So close the right nostril with a thumb. Two index fingers are out, and the two index fingers curl into the palm. The two end fingers are out. And this is called Vishnu Mudra. This is a hand we'll be using today. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. Fill the lungs up. Now close the left nostril with the ring finger. Keep the right nostril closed. Hold. Now release the thumb. Exhale right. Inhale right. Fill the lungs up. Now close the right nostril lightly. Left nostril closed. Retain the breath. And then release left. Inhale left. Close, hold. Both nostrils close. Release the thumb. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close and hold. Release the ring finger. Exhale left. A few more rounds. Inhale left. Close, hold. Release the thumb. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close, hold. Release left. Inhale left. Close, hold. Release right. Inhale right. Close, hold. Release left. Inhale left. Close, hold. Release right. Inhale right. Close, hold. Release left. Let's do it one more time. Inhale left. Close the left nostril with the ring finger. Hold both nostrils lightly. And then release the thumb. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close, hold. Release left. This will calm the body down, energize at the same time. It's really good if you've got irregular blood pressure. It'll help to even that out. Helps with allergies. It helps with asthma. You still take all the things that you have to take, but you'll find that it'll help to alleviate some of those things. Let's bring the hands into the heart center. Take an inhale, fill the lungs up. And from here, leave a small gap and retain the breath. Set your intentions for your practice. Think of the practice as a moving flow meditation. We're going to set the intention to challenge the body gently. See how it feels today. If you have any injuries, you're going to modify as much as you need to. You can work a little deep if you want to, or take it slowly, especially if you're not feeling 100%. You're going to listen to the body, treat it with respect, and have some fun with your practice. Let's release those intentions. Next inhale, fill the lungs up, leave a small gap and retain the breath. From here, bring to your mind someone or something that's really special to you. See if you can see them in your mind. From here, you're going to offer them your practice. Let's release the offering. Let's open with an Om. Gently open the eyes. Now, if you manage to find a strap, take your strap. Let's open the shoulders gently before we start the flow part of the class, and then we'll work with the restore part. So take the strap nice and wide. And then from here, if I turn to the side, you're going to see what happens. You can stand up to this. You can sit down. That's a nice way to open your shoulders. From here, you're going to bring the strap in front of you, it's inactive, and then when you bring it over the head, this gently opens the shoulders, and it opens the heart, and it will help to release your back, especially if you're sitting a lot and shoulders a little tight, and then you gently bring it over the head. If you know you've got tight shoulders, I'd bend the elbows a little bit like this, and release gently. This has got elastic, so it's got a lot of movement here. But if you're using a static strap, make sure you're taking the strap quite wide, the widest possible length, especially if your shoulders are tight, and this will gently release your shoulders. And you can take a little movement to one side if that feels nice. Rather than stress the neck out, I'd look ahead or up, back to the center, and then go to the other side. And then we're going to slowly release. Put it to one side. Let's go into a child's pose, very restorative. So we'll mix the restore as well into the flow. So child's pose, if you know you've got tight hips and the hips are a little tight, open up the knees a little bit. And then from here, you place the forehead down. You can put it on a brick or a cushion, arms to the side. And if your heels aren't touching if the glutes aren't touching the heels, then what you could do, if you've got cushions, you just lift the hips up a little bit and you place the cushion underneath like this. And it should feel nice. And if it doesn't, you just modify. So what feels nice for me or someone else might not feel great for you. So you have to find a way of modifying. You can always put a brick like this underneath the head. And that, whatever feels comfortable for you. So we're here with the arms to the side. If you know you've got a tight back, it feels really tight, close the hands, thumbs outside, find the sacrums at the lower part of the back, and you can gently release the back. A little tie massage here. Avoid the spine. This will release your shoulders because you're using them here as well. You're using the arms and the shoulders. The whole arm is moving. And you start low, and then you can take it up, and then take it down. The back is a little tight. Now we're going to walk the hands forward. We're going to have a little stretch here. Extended child's pose. And then we're going to lift the head up and we're going to thread the left arm underneath the right. We turn the side of the head goes down onto your mat or your ear. If it's comfortable, if your left ear is comfortable down on the mat, you can bring the top arm behind the back on the opposite hip. Mine isn't. You can see it's slightly up, so I'm just going to leave the right hand where it is. We start with the left side first. The left palm faces the ceiling. And then we slowly release. Come back into your extended child's pose. And then we lift the head up and we thread the right underneath the left. We start with the left side first. It's better for your digestion. And then you can bring the top arm behind the back. This side of the body is quite open for me, so the ear's down, so I can bring the left hand behind the back on the opposite hip. We're going to gently release. Come back into your extended child's pose. Stretch the back. And then we're going to come up onto all fours. We're going to open up the knees a little bit. Take a little movement side to side. Just gently release your hips. And then you can take a few circular movements, especially if your back is a little tight. And then do the other side. We're not moving too fast today. So just go at your own pace. This should feel quite nice on your back. Let's do some cat-cows here. So walk the knees back so the head's over the shoulders. And I've got an extra mat here because my knees sometimes gets a little sore. So you can always put a blanket here. Heads over the shoulders. Let's do some cat-cows. And we're going to keep the breath through the nose like the pranayama. Inhale, look up towards the sky. Exhale, look towards your belly button. Inhale up. Exhale towards your belly button. Relax the neck. Inhale up. Exhale towards your belly button. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now the drishti, that point of focus, is going to look ahead. Maybe shake the head out a little bit if it needs to. We're going to turn the hands to face in. If you know you've got a tight back, then open up the hands a little wider. It'll be kinder to your back. And walk the knees back if you need to. And we'll do this 4 times. Inhale. And exhale. Modify if it doesn't feel right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. We turn the hands to face in. Heads over the shoulders. And you can take a little movement side to side if that's nice for your forearms. And then from here 4 times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then slowly we're going to release. We're going to sit back on the back of the feet. So let's give the arch of the foot a stretch by just sitting back on the arch of the foot here. And this is a plantar fascia. So if that feels really uncomfortable, keep the feet flat. But it's nice to give the arch of the foot a little stretch. Bring the forearms together, glue them together, interlace the hands. You can move the wrists around. You can do this at your desk. And this will release your shoulders if they're a little tight. That and your strap, you can take your strap to work if you want to. And that'll help to release your shoulders if you need to. And then give the fingers a nice stretch. If it feels right, take a stretch up to one side, to the center, and then to the other side. Now shake everything out. I want to come into a downward facing dog. If you've got sore wrists, you can use blocks and you can hold your blocks like this. You can come into your down dog. Your feet are no wider than your hips. You can lift the heels up and have a little stretch here. That's if you've got sore wrists. If your wrists are feeling okay, then have the hands flat. And I like to then turn the middle fingers just to the corners of the mat. Heels are up because my back's a little tight. Take a little movement here. Take a little gentle bounce to release your back. And then from here, take the right leg up, point the toes. Let's turn the ankle around gently. A couple of times clockwise. And then you can do it anti-clockwise. If you hear any clicking, it's normally ear in the joints. And then from here, let's bend the right knee and take the right heel to the left glute. And then from here, take the right knee into your chest and take it up. And then bring it down. Let's do the left side. Take the left leg up, turn the ankle around a few times clockwise. And then anti-clockwise. And then from here, again, we're going to bend the knee and open up the hip. Take it to the right, glute the left heel. And then bring it into the chest. And then step it down, back into down dog. Take a gentle bounce here. Then you're going to walk your feet to the front of the mat. Catch hold of the elbows. Make the head nice and heavy. From here, we're going to sit down into chair. And then come all the way up. Catch hold of the elbows here. Let's gently release the back. Let's fold forward. Make the head nice and heavy. You want to release the back a little bit more. Hook the big toes if that feels right. Or you can step onto the palms if your back is more open. But if your back is tight, I'd bend the knees, catch hold of the elbows. And then from here, bring the hands down. Step the feet back. Come into a plank pose. You can do supported plank by bringing the knees down like this. But if you want to, lift the knees up if it feels nice. You're breathing through the nose. We lower down into chaturanga very gently. You can bring the knees down in your chaturanga if you need to. Then come up, sit back into extended child's pose. Now we're going to slide forward into cobra. So to do that, you keep the forearms down, the knees and the feet. We take the nose off the mat and we gently slide the back towards the hands and lift the elbows up. Sit back into your extended child's pose. Allow the back to do the work by keeping the forearms and the knees and the feet down. So you take the nose off the mat, you slide the back towards the hands. When the head reaches the hands, then you lift the elbows up. Let's sit back into extended child's pose. Let's do it one more time. We can do it a few more times if it feels nice. Forearms down, knees down, and you slide forward. So this is live, but you can always re-watch this and you can spend some more time if you want to. And then in the morning, if my back's a little tight, I tend to take the thighs off the mat, upward facing dog, and you'll feel a stretch on the stomach. And if your neck is a little tight, you can take a gentle movement to one side, to the center, and then to the other side. And we come into our downward facing dog again. So remember, don't have your feet any wider than your own hips. Lift the heels up if you need to. Take that gentle bounce. And then from here, take the right leg up. Again, let's open the hip. Take the heel to the left glute. Now let's take it into the chest and step the right foot forward. And we're going to gently bring the left knee down. Let's give the shoulders some love here by giving them a little stretch. Catch hold of the elbows. Nice roll here. And then from here, you can bring the arms into Kapyasana. You might even want to bring the hands into Kali Mudra by interlacing the fingers, index fingers touch. We take a little stretch. And try not to throw the head back. You bring the arms back first. Give the shoulders a roll. And then you can bend the arms. You can release the back a little bit if that feels nice. You're listening to how your body feels. You don't want to go into pain. If your left knee is uncomfortable, put a pillow underneath it. No pain at all. And then you can take the left arm out. You can take it behind the back. Walk it up in between the shoulder blades. See if the hands want to reach or keep them apart. This is Gomukhasana. If your hip feels a little tight, take the back knee off. Take a little gentle rock. You want to have fun with your practice, but you don't want to injure the body. So listen to how the body feels. And then we're going to slowly release. Let's bring both hands down inside the front foot. You've got your right foot to the edge of the mat. We'll go into lizard pose. To do that, you take the back knee off. You take a little rock. And then from here, so this will open up the hip in no time, especially if your hips are tight. And then from here, we bring the knee down and we take the left elbow. We see if that wants to bend like this. If it doesn't, we stay rocking like this, because that will open up the hips in no time. And if the left elbow wants to come down, but the inside, the right elbow doesn't, you can hold the foot with it. And that's your lizard. And the Sanskrit name is Uttam Prasthasana. Some teachers use blocks, but I think if your hips are a little tight, just line the hands up the heel of the foot, take the back knee off, take a little rock, and it will open the hips in no time. If you force the elbows down before they're ready to go down, you're going to injure yourself, so you don't want to do that. And then from here, let's give the hamstring a little stretch. You can sit back like this and give it a little massage. If you want to work a little deep and you know you haven't got injuries to your hamstrings, take your blocks, either side of the front foot, take a little rock either side. And then you can sit back. And then from here, you're going to bring the right foot off your mat and you're going to place the heel onto the floor. And then you can slide it forward if it feels right. That's my Alexa going off all by itself. A bit odd. So your right heel is off the floor. Now, if you're on a hard surface, if you put a sock underneath it, it will ease forward really easily. But you don't want to injure yourself. You want to square the hips up, give it a nice little stretch. Should feel quite easy. And if it feels really tight, sit back. So you want to go slow and careful. If you know you've got open hips, you can stretch it a little bit more. This one you can do in the evenings. It's a nice way to open up the hamstrings because you've been moving all day, hopefully, or whatever time you work, you want to just stretch it out. Go slow. Now we're going to slide the foot in. And then from here, we're going to come into a standing split. We're going to hold our blocks. We're keeping it nice and simple today. And take a little stretch here. Or bring both hands onto the ankle. Play with your balance that way. Or bring the hands to the heart center in your Prasarita. Now you can take the arms out into Virmadrasana 3, an airplane, or interlace the hands behind the back. So slowly working with your balance. Then we're going to bring both feet together. We're going to swoop the hands down onto the floor. We're going to come into our Utkatasana. Let the fingers touch the floor, then come all the way up. Let's swoop the hands down all the way down onto the floor. From here again, if your back is tight, catch hold of the elbows behind the knees, and that will feel quite nice to release your back. Bring your chest towards the thighs, bend the knees as much as you need to. I'm going to interlace the hands behind the back, palms together, Prasarita. Give the shoulders a stretch. Bring the hands down to either side of the front feet. And we're going to step the feet back, come down into plank. Remember, you can bring the knees down, come up, back into plank, then bring the knees down. And remember, if your plank, if it feels uncomfortable to have the torso up like this, bring the knees down and do your plank that way. And then you can come, this is now we're in chaturanga, and then you can come back into your plank. So take your time. There's always a modification if it doesn't feel right to come down that way. Sit back into your extended child's pose. And we're going to keep the forearms down, the knees down. We're sliding forward into our cobra. Sit back. And then we slide forward. Keep sliding, keep sliding, keep sliding. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to mirror you. I'm going to turn around. So let's sit back into our extended child's pose. And then from here, we slide forward. And you can see I'm near my deity, Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, this is his form of Nataraj. Ideally, you don't have your feet pointing towards them. And deities, you always try to keep them in a place that you practice, not in a bathroom or anything like that. It's not the right place to keep your deities. And then from here, we'll come into our downward facing dog. Heels are up. And take a gentle bounce. And the reason why you don't keep your deities in bathrooms and things, it's not good juju. So keep it in a place where you practice in your living room or somewhere like that, or bedroom. You can have it in your bedroom, just cover it up at night time if you need to. And take the left leg up, open the hip, take it to the right glute. And then we take it in towards the chest. And then we're going to step it forward. Now, make sure the right knee is nice and comfortable. Let's give the shoulders a bit of love here by taking a little rock. Same thing, we're just doing it on the opposite side. Hands into Kali Mudra, interlace the fingers, index fingers touch. We give them a little roll. Bend the arms, and this time we take the right arm out. This side's a little tighter. So if I turn around, and you'll see, look, it doesn't reach like this. It's a little tight. So all I do is I release the top hand, find the right elbow with kindness, walk it up, and then I bring the hands to reach. Slowly and carefully, see how that feels. And then remember, if the hip's a little tight, take the back knee off and take a little rock like that. And then bring both hands down. Let's go into our lizard. Take the left foot out to the edge of the mat. And then both hands line it up with the heel of the foot. Take a little rock. And if you want to work a little deeper, it's always the outside elbow if your hips are tight. So try bending the right elbow first. If it doesn't want to go down like that, stay rocking. But if the inside elbow, if the left elbow this time doesn't want to go down, you can hold the foot. And if it's super tight, you could always come up and just ease it this way. So go slowly. Don't force the elbows down though, because you don't want to injure yourself. And then from here, we bring that left foot to the middle of the mat. Take a little rock. Use your blocks here. And you want to have your foot off the mat, because otherwise it's not going to ease forward, especially if you've got a non-slip mat. So I'm going to move away from Lord Shiva. Remember I said it's not good to have your feet in front of the deity, and then you just ease it forward. This side's a little tighter. So try to square the hips up. And you don't want to overstretch, and you don't want to force it. So you can slide it in and then slide it out. First side, if I hold it for a length of time, I'm always down in my hand. This side's much tighter. It doesn't want to go down. You want to square the hips up. You can bring the hands to the heart center. Just stretch it out that way. And the longer you hold, the easier it becomes if you relax into it and see the poses. Just work with how the body feels. Some days you want to stretch, some days you might not want to stretch. And then from here we come into our standing split. So remember, you can take the back leg, the right leg up, you can hold the ankle, you can bring the hands into the heart center, you can take the arms out into Virmadrasana 3. There's loads of options here. The heart's getting a workout here, the veins to the legs get a workout. And then bring the feet together, sweep the hands down, and come up, come into your chair, and then come up and take a little roll. Now, we're going to start to work a little lower on the mat. So Got about half an hour to go, and we'll work with some longer poses here. This is where your blanket will come in handy if you want to use your blanket. And I'll time the poses here. I'll do a lot of them with you. And some of them I might just need to cue you once I show you how to do it, because otherwise I'll end up falling asleep here. So let's work with Ustrasana Camel. So we put our fingers onto our glutes, and then the hands support the lower part of the back. I'm up on my heels here, and I gently push my torso forward, head goes back, and I stretch my back that way. Now it's pretty intensive. You want to be able to breathe. It's very heart opening. You could place one hand gently onto the heel if that wants to go, other hand onto the heel, and stretch your back that way. When you release from this pose, you need to support your back again. So place the hands back onto the hips. And then I'd probably go back into child's pose and just release your back that way. Now from here, we're going to go into a seated forward fold. So from here, you take the legs out. Now, if you've got a cushion or a pillow will do, you can place it underneath the back of the knees like this. And then from here, open up the feet slightly. And then we're not going to stress the back out, because if you start off very low, you're going to stress the back out. So take your blocks and place it onto your bolster, and then you can place the head onto it, and you can fold. You can stay in this position here, a forward fold. I'm going to keep an eye on the time, so I'll hold this for a couple of minutes. It's not yin, but we are holding and we're working slowly. If your back is more open, you want to start high first. So even in yin, I always get people to start much higher, very comfortable, and then work down from there. So from here, you can place the head and work a little deeper. The head needs to be supported, and you just gently fold forward. Relax the back here. And you're not gripping. You can see I just moved there, sorry, and just startled my poor little pup. You're not gripping the feet. All you're doing is, let's see, this is not, it's not in the right position. This is probably better. Like this. Actually, this is much better. You're not gripping the feet. When the blocks do start to move, not yet, then you need to lower them down a little bit. My back feels supported. It feels very nice. But if you're too low, you're going to stress the body out. And you're not gripping the feet too much. Relax the shoulders and the neck. We hold a lot of tension in our backs and our shoulders, so this will help to release it. And you can always cover yourself up with a blanket if you need to. You can go back to the Hamsa mantra. Just mentally repeat that, or keep the mind in silence if that's better for you. Remember, if your back is feeling more open, you can lower your props down a little bit more. And if you start high and work low, it's better for your back. If you start too low first, back will get stressed out. Head needs to be supported. And you're not gripping your feet, you're relaxing the back here. And when you're ready, you're going to slowly release. Come up to a seated position here. And then from here, we're going to move our props. Now, remember, you're improvising, so if you haven't got all the things, you can probably find them in your home. Cushions and pillows will do, but make sure, especially if you're using them for your back, that it feels comfortable. Make it nice and high if you need to. Let's come up, and then from here, we'll take a little twist. So we could bring the left leg forward, bring the right leg across, and then from here, you can take a little twist here, and just from here, this right hand can go to the opposite hip, have a little twist. This is my little dog, Loki. She's a Shiba Inu. This is a calm before the storm because there's a lot of fireworks tonight, as you know. So I'm trying to keep her nice and calm before the fireworks. She doesn't like the fireworks. And then slowly release and swap. So we do the other side. So from here, you've got the right leg forward. Take the left leg. And then from here, left leg across. And you can take a little twist here. Make sure the sit bones are down and look over the opposite shoulder if that feels right for you. It doesn't have to be too deep. We'll do a line down twist at the end. And we're going to gently release from there. So from here, we'll do recline butterfly. It's really nice for your back. If you know your hips are a little tight first, bring the feet together. And then from here, you can take a gentle little, you can see if your knees are quite high, it means the hips are a little tight. So this gentle movement here will start to open the hips. When I did my teacher training, I think it's about 9 years now. So I could do all the tricks upside down, but sitting in this position or cross leg like this, even for 5 seconds, it was really hard on my body. So it takes some time. So you can always sit on a cushion and take your time and gently, you don't want to press on your knees. Your knees are very delicate. You don't want to press. So it will help to open up the hips. And then slowly, so from here, now we're going to a recline butterfly. So you're going to take your bolster. And if you know you've got a tight back, if you haven't got blocks, you can use books, kind of thick books. And you place that underneath your bolster or your cushions, or make them nice and high. So where your head's going to go, the back of the head's going to go, it's nice and elevated, especially if you've got tight hips. And then from here, I hold the bolster or in the cushions, and I support my back as I lie back. And this feels really nice. It's a little high actually. I can make it lower. I stretch the legs out, or I can bring the feet into butterfly. Now my back opens, my chest is opening, the hips are opening. If it feels very uncomfortable, you can place cushions and bolsters and bricks and things underneath the thigh to give it a little support like this. It doesn't actually feel uncomfortable. If I want to open my shoulders, I catch hold of my elbows like this. And this will open up the hips, the back, the chest, the shoulders. It has numerous benefits. And at any stage, you can stretch the legs out. You can even cross them, whatever feels nice for you. Cover yourself with a blanket if you need to. If it's too high, you can make it lower. So I'll make it a little lower. I'll show you how I make it lower. Like this. And I guess if you I've got some sandbags here. You never place anything onto your knees because knees are very delicate. You do not want to place anything onto your knees. But if you have got sandbags, you could improvise here. You can put pillows instead of sandbags. So this is much lower. I place the blocks underneath my hips, and then with the sandbags, I just place them onto my inner thigh. And that gives me some weight here. Nothing on my knees, because knees are delicate. You don't want to do anything slowly. I guess you could use bags of rice or whatever. But your knees, you don't want anyone jumping up and down on them, you don't want to stress them out. So I'd try to avoid any tugging at knees. If you've got injuries to your knees, your meniscus, you want to be even more careful. Let's stay here for maybe another 2 minutes. And you can always place one hand on the heart, one hand on the chest, or place the hands down. Let's work with the chakras again, like we did at the beginning. Let's find the Muladhara at the base, just above the perineum. Swadhisthana, sacral chakra, below the belly button, orange. See if you can keep the colours in your mind. The Manipura, solar plexus, center of the chest, yellow. The Anahata, the heart, green. The Vishuddhi, the throat, blue. Anjashaka, third eye, indigo. Sarasahara, purple. There is another chakra, the Bindu chakra. It's at the back of the head, and it doesn't really have a colour. It's quite translucent in colour. But if it helps, bring the colour white into your mind. And the Bindu chakra is associated with wellness and health, mental and physical. If you're working on that area in your body, you bring the Bindu chakra and the throat chakra, the Vishuddhi. Imagine there's a light thread connecting them. And you just focus those two chakras in your meditation and bring to your mind any healing that you want done in the body. And remember, be careful with your knees. You don't want to put anything on them. Just a reminder, I'm always very cautious when it comes to knees. Now, we're going to come out. That's over 2 minutes. Stretch the legs out. Maybe flex the feet a little bit. And to come up, use the core tuck in the belly button, the hands down flat. Come up. And we come into a seated position here. If your back is a little tight, bend the knees and just stay in a forward fold here. Or you can give yourself a little hug. Now, I'm keeping an eye on the time. We started about 15 minutes later than we were meant to. So we will do a deep relaxation in the next 5 minutes. So we're going to finish off with just a few more poses. So if this time of the year, especially, we tend to indulge a lot more than what we would normally do. And it's great because it's the holiday time. So the digestion's a little slow. We can work with our malasana, our squat. So come up. So from here, now if your heels are up, so if I turn around and show you my heels are up like this, it's going to be very uncomfortable. There's ways to support the arch of the feet, especially if you're holding. We're going to hold for more than a minute here, but not too long. So I stick some blocks underneath, and here, I'm supported, and I drop my shoulders down, elbows in. I can use a wall here. I could go against the wall like this. And then from here, my back against the wall, it's cold though, and elbows in because this is an outside wall. And that will support my arch of my foot. It's really good for your digestion. It's good for the hips as well. But if you know you've got open hips, you can stand on your blocks like this. So take the blocks, stand on them like this, and then from here, my feet are quite big. Elbows in, I drop them below the shoulders. And elbows in. Now, if you've got sore knees, back to that seated position like we did earlier, just in butterfly. So that's going to open the hips, but this is a nice way to open the hips. But it's also great for your digestion. In Southeast Asia, you'll see a lot of people in this seated position when they're prepping food and stuff. And it's because it's really good for your digestion. And it's also good for your hips as well. But you want to be careful, especially if you've got injuries to your knee. So you want the knees, and if the hips are a little tight. If your hips are tight, then it will start, because everything's connected, the knees will feel like it's quite sore sometimes. So torso nice and upright. And I guess you could improve, you can use different things here. So when I teach yin and we hold this for a length of time, I give them a bolster and they hold it and they give it a hug, and that keeps everything nice and upright. You want to try to have the spine nice and upright here, and there should be no pain. Now this I didn't like doing. I started with a few, probably about 30 seconds, and then I worked up to, I don't need a clean, Loki, and then I worked up to, now I hold it for 10 minutes or so. I don't need all this stuff, but I did at the beginning. And I could really love this pose now, because it really helps with the hip opening. We're just going to do this for another 30 seconds. When you come out, if you're using blocks, hands on the floor, and slowly come out that way if you need to come out. Now, when you're ready, we're going to slowly come out. So come up, and then from here, just give everything a little movement. So hands onto the hips, and gently open the hip up that way. Go slowly. It will help with your balance. And then you're going to slowly do the other side. So this you can do in the morning. Just move the hip around a little bit. Give everything a little shake. Now, we're going to give everything a little shake. And then from here, let's come back onto our mat. And from here, that's my dog. She does that when she's nesting. You can hear her scratching the carpet. So from here, let's go into bridge pose. We're going to catch hold of the ankles. We're going to lift the hips up here and hold here. If you want to support your back and put a brick underneath it, you can do. Lift the hips up, take your block. So if you're using cans, don't do it, because cans won't work. And then you can support that underneath your back. It should feel quite nice. And then you can bring the arms overhead. I'm not going to do that. There's a candle right here. But this feels quite nice on my back. If it doesn't feel nice, don't use your props. It should feel really nice. This is right underneath my sacrum. And then you can bring the arms over the head, but you can see there's a candle here. I'm not going to do that. You just stretch the arms out. And then you're going to slowly, you could even stretch the legs out like this. So take your time. Just fireworks, Loki. These dreaded fireworks on New Year's Eve and Diwali. I mean, I love all these holidays, but the fireworks scare the life out of pets. And then you're going to lift the hips up and you're going to gently. Now, when you come out of your bridge, if you were holding your ankles like this, so when you come out of your bridge, you bring your back down flat, you stretch the legs out, and stretch the arms out. Make sure, I've got a candle here, so I'm not going to do that, but just decontract the back. And then you can bring the knees into the chest and take small circular movements. So the temptation is when you come out of bridge is to then bring the knees into the chest straight away. Let the back decontract first by stretching everything out. And from here, you're going to go slowly. If you want to do a shoulder stand, you can do. And then we're going to go into our deep relaxation and set our intentions for 2023. So from here, if you're going to go into your shoulder stand, you bring the legs up. You can always place the legs against the wall and just hold here. Support your back, close your eyes. Now, I'm not going to do the whole of shoulder stand because I won't be able to talk to you. So gently stay in your shoulder stand for a few more breaths. Now support your back. If you're going to go into your halasana, your plow, go straight into it. And if the feet don't touch the floor, keep them slightly off the floor, just open up the legs. And then from here, supporting your back, slowly come out. We're going to go into Matsyendrasana fish, and then we'll go into a relaxation. So to go into your fish, you lift. Let's do simple fish today. Or if you've got a variation, go into your variation. Lift the hips up, sit on the front of the hands, and then from here, you want to lift the top of the head up, place it down on the floor. And from here, you could even pump the breath through the nose like this. Chin to chest and slowly release. Let's do a twist on the floor by bringing the knees over towards the left, the head to the right. If there's a gap in between the hips and the heels, you could use a block like this. Sorry, in between the two knees. You just use a block, it's going to be more comfortable. Head goes to the opposite side. But if that neck doesn't want to move, don't stress it out. If you want to stretch a bit more, you can take that right leg out. And then slowly release. And then we take the knees over towards the right. If you haven't got enough room, just adjust yourself. And remember, you can always place a brick in between both. You can take that left leg out. Take a little twist here. And then you're going to gently release. Now we get ready for our deep relaxation. You can turn your lights off at home. You can use a blanket here. And if you've got your kids and they want to join you for their relaxation, they can do. So we've got a good 10 minutes here. So get ready. I'm going to give you some time now to get your rooms ready. Make sure you're nice and warm. Put your socks on if you need to. Put a hoodie on and get a blanket and get yourself nice and comfortable. Let's give you 60 seconds to start to get ready. If you need to use the bathroom, go and do that and come and join us. Just take your time. Those who are getting ready for your relaxation or on the mat, make sure you're comfortable. So this is a bit like getting ready for bed. For me, I have a little wiggle and have to adjust myself a few times to get comfortable before I get ready for bed. So do that. But you're lying on your back, and ideally your palms are facing either side of your hips, and your palms are facing upwards, or one hand on the heart, one hand on the chest. Feet will probably be turning out. If you know you've got a tight back, place a couple of blocks underneath your shins, or you can use a bolster like this. And from here, we're going to start to relax the whole body. So let's start over on the left side of the body. Make the left side of the body a little heavier than the right. In your mind, you're gently letting go of your practice has already served you. You're letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, including your practice and all the things that are no longer useful. Just gently ease them into the earth. If you have any injuries, any ailments, bring them to your mind. Acknowledge them, and then you're going to send the breath there and ease those away as well. Just send them to the earth. In your mind, you're just gently turning everything off, a bit like you're getting ready for bed at the end of the evening. It's like turning off your computers. Just turn everything off. Bring your focus to your left thumb and make it very heavy. The left index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and baby finger. Fingers are relaxed on the left hand, heavy and restoring. Now to your left palm, front of the hand and left wrist. Left hand relaxed, forearm and elbow, upper arm and shoulder. Left armpit. The left arm is completely relaxed. and very difficult to move. And in your minds, if you've got a place that's particularly happy for you, you're going to take yourself there. It could be a past memory from childhood. It could be with your loved ones, your friends, your family, your furry friends. You're going to gently take your attention there. It could be something from the present, right now, or something that you're looking forward to. But wherever you take your minds, it should bring you joy. Now we take the focus all the way down the left side of the body to the left glute and hip, the left thigh, around to the back of the thigh, heavy and restoring, the left knee, around to the front of the knee, to the calf and shin and ankle, the left front of the foot, sole of the foot, the left big toe, and then one by one the other toes gently start to relax. The left side of the body becomes much heavier than the right, and very difficult to move as it starts to replenish and recover. Now we take the focus over to the right side of the body, to the right thumb and index finger, middle finger, ring finger and baby finger. Fingers are relaxed on the right hand, palm, front of the hand and wrist. Forearm, elbow, upper arm and shoulder. The armpit. The right side of the body starts to relax. The right arm joins the left. Now we go down the right side of the body to the right glute and hip. The thigh. The back of the thigh. The back of the right knee. The front of the knee. The shin and the calf. The ankle, front of the foot, sole of the foot, the right big toe. All the other toes on the right foot gently relax, recover, and heal. The right side of the body joins the left. The two find their balance again. Now we take the focus to the back, to the sacrum, that bony part of the back, and then the spine, the disc and the vertebra, one by one, start to relax. Gently the back melts into the earth till it reaches the back of the head, the back of the neck, the scalp. Now your face relaxes. Forehead, eyes and eyelids. The eyelashes, the nose softens and relaxes. And now your cheeks, the mouth, the lips, the tongue and the teeth relax. The chin, the back, the hair, the face. Reconnect to the left and right sides of the body. Now to your torso, the chest, the rib cage, and within the rib cage, all the internal organs, your lungs, liver, kidneys, spleen, pancreas, digestive system, diaphragm, and heart. The whole body now, so relaxed, and you go deeper into your places of personal happiness. My voice becomes distant, and the body becomes very heavy as it recovers. And now you can work with your sankalpas. You can now start to work with the things that you want to manifest in 2023. So you bring to your mind, with lightness and ease, the things that you want to bring into your existence. If there's more than one, That's okay. Just play one of them in your mind first. See them in your mind. Feel the emotion. And once you can see it, then you bring the next one into your mind. Our sankalpas are well, setting our intentions rather than resolutions. And our thoughts become our reality. So play your sankalpas in your mind. See them, feel them, and bring the emotions associated with them to your mind. Always kind to ourselves with our thoughts. Once you can see them and start to feel them, just allow them to run through your mind with ease. Now, these sankalpas that you're playing in your mind, when they start to feel really real in your mind, you might want to start releasing them. So imagine you're releasing a kite. The kite's on a piece of, normally it's on a piece of rope or string, and you know that kite's going to come back to you. Same with your sankalpas. Just release them, knowing that when the time's right, they'll come back to you. You're working with your sankalpas in your minds every time you work with your meditation, every time the mind's relaxed. Gently releasing your sankalpas. Now you're going to find the right side of the heart, finding that space about the size of your thumbnail where we began an hour ago. And if you're working with UK time, we're going into the evening, so you can visualize a star or the moon, whatever you prefer, in the place of the spiritual heart. And the rays of the moon or the rays of the stars will gently now start to permeate the whole body. Then we're going to bring our thumb and our index finger to lightly touch. And then with the thumb, lightly touch the other fingers. It's a nice way to awaken the body. If your feet are turning out, maybe turn them in, maybe flex the feet. And take a stretch here, a gentle stretch. You're in your home, so if you want to stay in your relaxation for longer, then please do. But if you're finishing with me, you're going to take a stretch, and then you're going to bring the knees in towards the chest, and maybe hold below the knees, and maybe take a few circular movements. Keep the back and the head down if you can. Just clockwise, anti-clockwise to release your back. Then you're going to give yourself a hug, and you're going to roll over to the right side in your embryo. It's a nice way to wake up because it allows the tongue to relax and start producing saliva so the body starts to hydrate itself. And press lightly through the left hand and come up to your comfortable seated position. Let's bring the hands to the heart center. Let's finish with the Loka Samastha mantra. Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for joining on New Year's Eve. Have a great start to 2023. Remember, with your sankalpas, just work with them when you're working with your meditation, when the mind's relaxed. Sometimes in our meditation, it can be a little agitated. I wouldn't work with your sankalpas then, and before you know it, they'll come into your existence. Have a great start to 2023. Thank you for joining me this evening. If you've got any questions, you can message me on social media or go through more yoga. You'll find me on my website, thelostyogaboy.com. Thank you so much, guys. Happy New Year. Bye bye.